Hello, YouTube friends, and welcome to Sew Aldo. On today's sewing projects for beginners, I am going to show you how to successfully do a shearing stitch. So, if you want to see how, keep on watching. I had made so many sheared top and dresses without using an elastic threads. On those video, I just use a regular elastic. On today's tutorial, we are actually going to use an elastic thread. This is going to be so easy for beginners and you are going to thank me. I'm going to show you the secret. I actually figure out the magic sauce for this shearing technique and it's going to give you a good result every time. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I will do is wind up the bobbin. So I am just doing it manually just because if you do it on the sewing machine, it will stretch the elastic threads and it's not going to give you a good result. So I am just going to wrap it around and I am not stretching it like I mentioned earlier. So I'm just going to neatly wrap it, and then once it is to the top like a normal thread would, I am going to stop and I'm going to leave about 5 inches tail. After that, I am going to put it in the bobbin case. So I am just going to load it. It's actually a little tricky just because it wants to move around. So if you need something to help you so the thread or the elastic thread can get in the groove, you can do that like I did here. I use a seam ripper to kind of push it in the groove. And then instead of loading the thread all the way to the groove here, I am just going to leave the tail out. So I'm not going to put it in this little thingy here. Now I turn on my sewing machine and then I am going to pick up the thread or the bobbin thread. So just like you would do on a normal thread. So I'm just going to turn the wheel and then I am going to pick up the elastic. I also use a seam ripper to help me pull that out. Now we are almost ready. Ended up changing the blue thread because I will be using a red fabric, but it's pretty much the same process. Going to increase the stitch length will vary depending on the type of fabric you are using, and also it depends on your sewing machine, so be sure to test that out prior. I found this presser foot that I bought long time ago. I actually didn't know what it was for, but now I found out it's actually a gathering foot or a shearing foot. So it is super easy to install. First, you are going to remove the presser foot that's already on the sewing machine. I have this little screwdriver here. As you can see, it pops right out, and there is a tutorial. I actually watched Sewing Parts Guru on how to do this. So if you want to watch that video, I am going to try to link it below or in the description box below. And I'm very careful when doing it just because my sewing machine is on. I suggest please turn off your sewing machine, okay? Just going to align it properly and then I am going to tighten up the screw. Then I will turn the needle up and down just to make sure that it will fit in the hole of the foot. And here I am testing it on this black fabric. As you can see, this one is super light and it gathers really easily. So I'm just going to do a couple of rows. I can see that the gathers are very tight and the stitch length was 4.6. The reason why is this is a lightweight fabric, so I set it on 4.6. And now I am going to be using just a regular presser foot and see if it gathers really easily as well, so we can compare which one is better, the shearing foot or just a regular foot. I use the same stitch settings, which is 4.6. I use the regular foot on this one, and I can see that the gathers are not as tight as this one here. All in all, I think you can use just a regular foot if you don't want to spend an extra few dollars for the other foot. I think just the regular presser foot will do good as well. I'm actually going to use that for my next sewing project. I am going to use it on the actual sewing project that I am working on, and I changed the settings to 5 just because the fabric is a little thicker than the black ones that I used earlier. You can see here I am not cutting off the elastic. I am just going to lift up the needle and then move it to the line that I plan on sewing. So I am going to stitch it 1 centimeter apart. So I basically just lift up the presser foot and then move the needle on the farthest left and then continue on sewing. Don't forget to check the bobbin from time to time that you are not running out of elastic thread. If you run out already, don't forget to knot the end of the elastic so it doesn't unravel. And then you are just going to start where you left off. Of course, you are going to load the bobbin again, just like we did earlier. Ended up doing 17 rows of shearing stitch, and I load up the bobbin 3 times. So that's just for reference. And this is the final product. I absolutely love how it turned out, and it is a successful sewing project today. I am super happy. Now I am going to tell you what the magic sauce is. For you to have a successful shearing project, you actually have to use the proper or the right elastic thread. The elastic thread that I use is 1 millimeter round. I bought it off of Amazon for a good price. And by the way, this is not a sponsored video, but I'm going to leave the link to the exact elastic thread that I used today. It actually came in two, one white and one black. Okay, so just in case you want to remove a few rows of your project, you can just easily do it by seam ripping the actual thread and then pulling out the elastic thread. I ended up doing this just because my daughter didn't want a blouse. She wanted something different. So I had to rethink my plan. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope this is helpful to you. Be in the know by subscribing to Sew Aldo and hit the notifications so you will get notified whenever I post a new one. I will see you next time. Bye!